There's been some interesting development in the case where a Mini 2 was shot by an annoyed neighbor. So I thought I would make an update for you. As we know now, the shooter is a plain liar and we have the evidence to back it up. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I posted a video where a guy, he went to some relatives to do a 3D model of a house. And while he was performing the operation, the neighbor decided to pull out his air rifle from the window on the first floor, decides to shoot a drone out of the sky in an urban area. The drone was hit several times, as you can see from these images. Apart from the physical damage on the drone, the really critical part here is that this guy decided to fire his air rifle in urban areas. And he was shooting more than once, and that makes you wonder what happens to all the other pellets that was not hitting the drone. The whole situation ended last time with the shooter agreeing with the police that he will settle this directly with the drone pilot without their interference. But with the police out of the picture, the shooter purely refused to pay for a new drone. And he just supplemented with the comment, well, I guess we all learned something from this lesson. Our guy, the drone pilot, was not happy about this. And because he could not afford to lose his drone in case the police decided to take it in for investigation, he did not move forward with this. So for a while, it seemed like the shooter got a freebie on this one. I felt sorry for the guy and I couldn't let it go because I found it completely insane that some random guy decides to shoot a drone out of the sky in an urban area. There has to be a consequence, even though this is only an air rifle or pellet gun. Who knows what he will do next? Maybe he will shoot at a cat or a dog if he finds those annoying. There's really no way to tell, but this is not okay. I understand the circumstances because the drone was very close to his property. And I would probably have been concerned as well what this guy was doing if I had limited knowledge about drones. We can probably agree because he was flying so close to his house, he should probably have notified the neighbors in advance what he was doing there to avoid situations like this. But seriously, you can't go rogue and ignite your inner Rambo and start shooting at random things. What he should have done was to call the local police and let them handle the situation. We're talking drone trespassing, the police is pretty responsive. So I decided to step in and offered our drone pilot that he could borrow a DJI Mini 2 in case the police decided to seize his drone for investigation. So at least he would not have to worry about that part. I also encouraged him to seek legal advice as well as digging out the flight logs from the drone. I don't know what made the tipping point, but our drone pilot decided to move forward and pursue this. But before he moved forward, he gave the shooter a second chance to pay for his drone. It's after all a lot easier without the hassle of the police and the court. But not unexpected, the shooter ignored this. So the consequence now is that he is officially reported to the police, along with the evidence what was going on. Remember that the shooter, backed up by his wife, claimed that the drone was flying over his property in the middle section of the house. That's a lie, and I will show you. The police officer that the drone pilot talked to, which was someone else than with the initial request, 100% agreed after looking at the evidence that the shooter would have a very hard time being innocent in this case. Furthermore, he confirmed they will not seize the drone. They're not allowed to do that in cases of vandalism for the prosecuting party. And in this case, our drone pilot, as he is the one that has reported this crime. So that put things in a different perspective, as the officer that took the first report clearly didn't know the rules and was giving out false information. And based on that, our drone pilot made some wrong decisions and decided not to pursue this in the first place. If you find value in content like this and don't want to miss out how all of this ends, then consider subscribing to the channel. If we take a closer look at the flight log, we can see the actual path that the drone was traveling. You can see the nose of the drone follows the line parallel to the neighbor property. There's nothing in the data that supports the claim of the shooter that the drone has been flying over his property. On the contrary, to make things even worse for him, you can see the point where the drone pilot decides to take over manual control. When he realizes that the drone is being shot at, he decides to cancel the mission and take over manual control, turn 180 degrees and fly away from the shooter and land next to the car. So the drone shooter is not only a liar, he decided to shoot the drone over someone else's property. So he definitely deserves to learn a lesson. What do you think? I will post a follow-up video once I know how this ends. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then feel free to give a like. If you didn't like it, feel free to press the dislike button twice. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you around.